Yo, welcome back everyone. This is S03E08 with another Minecraft video. Today's going to be a bit of a showcase day. I've done quite a bit of stuff since the last video. I debated with myself a little bit to show the process that was going on, but most of it was actually just fairly boring getting on with stuff. Going backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. So I thought I'd just show the changes that I've made. As you can see, I've added another 4K storage cell. We have a white ender chest here, which is for me and the other guys to transfer stuff between each other, like a trading post. We had the inscriber there last time. Didn't have this QED, the quacky ender device, or the. Every time you look at it, it has a different tooltip. So if you look at it in here, there we go, a quantum emission decompiler. And if we go back out and then go back in, it's now a quantum ender diviner. And I needed that with this ender flux crystal to make a component of the generator. I made an 8 times generator. So one of these furnace generators was an 8 times multiplier. What I found is I wasn't making enough power. I thought about doing all sorts of things. I have made a slice and splice as well to try and make a powered spawner, but the powered spawner takes 2 emeralds, and in here I have only 2 emeralds, and I want to use one of them for the modular power suits mod. So let's take a dive down and have a look. There's quite a few changes down here. I've gotten rid of everything from the middle of the room like it was before. We have just a single cable going down there to the farm. We don't have the coke ovens here anymore. I did make a second coke oven, but it wasn't enough. So over here we have not 3 but 4 coke ovens pretty much running full time, giving us charcoal. We've also got this capacitor bank here which holds 30 million RF now. The solar panel that I showed before still powers this underneath, as well as this here, which is the 8 times furnace generator. I've found with the furnace generator it does just use 8 times the fuel and go 8 times as fast. It's the same as having 8 of them. The difference being, and you'll see this when we have some dark oak wood, I've added a couple of these energy cells as well. They seem to help buffer that when I was running out of power. But when we put this in, see, it takes 8 at a time and runs for the same amount of power, just you get 8 times the power out. If you've got less than 8 in there, it'll take whatever's there, but the time remaining will be smaller. So that's something to bear in mind if you're going to use one of those. Pretty gnarly to make the component for the middle of it. This thing, the transfer node, which used like a ton of redstone. Still pretty well worth it if you're going to try and use this for power. As you can see, it's keeping up with my power, but only just for the applied energistics. What else did we do? We've got more of these crystal growth accelerators. See, they're unplugged at the moment. Again, they use a bit of power, so my power situation is still, even with 4 of those, is just not quite enough by charcoal. So I do actually have a solution for that, which I'll show you in a second. So what we've got is, in here we have, you can see all 8 channels are used because we've got 2 exports, 2 imports, 2 exports, 2 imports. So each of these has an export and import, which gives us our 8 channels, and that goes into this, a P2P tunnel, so a peer-to-peer tunnel, and there's a little memory card that you shift right click on one end and then right click on the other end to program it. So the other end of this is up there, plugged straight into the ME controller. So each side of the ME controller can do 32 channels. I've got 8 of them coming into this P2P tunnel, and then being tunneled over this other plain glass cable. I do have this one piece of smart cable down here just so I can see how many channels are in use, and you can see there are 3 channels. So that's 1 channel for the export bus, 1 channel for the P2P link, and 1 channel for this crafting terminal here. And those are the only 3 channels, and they're coming out of this bottom side of the controller. Over here we've got 6 channels, and those 6 have 3 that go up to my crafting terminal and my other normal terminal and the inscriber, I believe. Oh no, the drive bay. The inscriber just uses power, doesn't use a channel. And those three go down to the farm, which I've shown you before. Now there is one more thing that I'm gonna quickly show you, and it's something that I started last time, and that is down here in this new room. And I have finally got myself a big reactor going. It is the smallest big reactor that you can make, the small big reactor. I haven't automated it yet. As you can see, I've got this terminal down here so I can get into my applied energistics from down here. I haven't made the import or export bus. No waste yet. Got some yellorium in there. Got my power hooked up. It's all green. As you can see, I've got water in there. I've only got water in the top four corners, so there's sort of 4 water source blocks up in the top corners. This glass here is just, so that I can get on. The reactor control rod, I'm leaving it at 30%. It seems to be a pretty good balance between making the fuel last a long time and still giving decent power. And if I go in here and turn it on, you can see the temperature ramps up really fast in the core heat. We get to nearly to the top, 1800 degrees, 1700 degrees, yeah, there we go. And a pretty respectable 464 RF per tick. I think that gets up a little bit higher as this temperature, as the casing heat goes up. Water's not the best thing to use in there, doing 0.055 millibuckets per tick, so that's pretty low fuel usage. If I put that control rod to 0, this goes up to 0.08. So I'm preferring to keep it there, because with 0.08 we still only squeeze out another, 60 RF per tick or something. It's not enough for me to warrant the extra usage of fuel, so I just leave it at that. And that is plenty as well. If I go down here, I can look at my capacitor bank from down here. As you can see, that's flying up faster than I can use it. So I just need to automate this. I may make a second sort of how-to video on these reactors, but it's pretty basic. I might do a how-to on a bigger reactor build later on. I am starting to think about building a second bigger base sort of near this one that's a bit better laid out and stuff. So this is my ultimate power solution. Really, let's just turn it off. And that's just because these coke ovens, applied energistics just seem to use so much power now. I'm not sure what has happened with it, but this barely keeps up with my power usage. You can see it just trickling out, and then a piece of charcoal will come in and it'll boost it a bit, but then it'll trickle out again. And then I think it's only being held up where it is by that solar generator being able to charge it at night time. But I did get to use the P2P tunnel, which is pretty good. I'm really loving the way these channels work in applied energistics. It's quite a cool feature of the mod, so I may still leave these going. I'm not sure. As I said, you do get 32 channels out of a side, so I can actually have 32 coming back through there, which means I could put a 32 channel smart cable just in that one block there, and then branch out another color or whatever it is of 8 channel to get some level emitters on these. And those level emitters will just purely be to control my charcoal quantity, because I don't want to overflow with charcoal, but I do sometimes need charcoal. Oh, and you do need it to cook up to make the graphite bars, which are used in big reactors as well. So a few uses or a few reasons to keep those around, even as a backup power source, just if for whatever reason the big reactor fails. But it doesn't appear that those big reactors have meltdowns or anything, so it might just be the way to go as big reactors. Not entirely reusable fuel, but there we go. The only other thing of note is it's made another one. So I've found these helium plant seeds. Now they grow on the roof, as you can see in the nether. We found one of these. Oh, so I get another 2 out of that, and you push Q and they just float around until they pop in. That's growth 50%, that's growth mature. 3 again. Cool. Now the reason I'm growing these is because they are supposed to give you glowstone. I'm not entirely sure how. uh, right, you have to macerate or pulverize or no. I think only a macerator will do it. Lacerator. Okay, so only a macerator will actually give you glowstone dust from them. What I might do, we'll grab one of them and give it a go. I know this is supposed to be a showcase, but why not? We'll just see how this... Oh, I've obviously been doing something. Put that in. No, it's not going to let me. All right, so I am going to need a macerator if I want to do that. That's good to know. Come on. There we go. Cool. So I'm going to keep reading these and then keep getting more, more seeds out of these. And I'll have to obviously build a macerator. I'm pretty sure those are, yeah, EU. Oof. So I'm going to need to use some universal power or something to convert my RF into the EU for that. But that's pretty much it. Everything's running. I've left this overnight a couple of times now. The chunk loader's going. Still like my frost spell. I've left the chunk loaders going a few times, and oh, I'm out of trees again. So yeah, another problem that I still have yet to solve is when we cut the power to this farm, we lose saplings for some reason. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on there either. It seems to mostly keep up, but because we need these in groups of 4, it becomes very hard for them to keep growing without them being in groups of 4. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do about that yet either. Yeah, definitely interesting puzzle. Okay, I'm gonna cut the hair. I've given a bit of a tour of, I think, everything that's changed since last time. Yeah, that's about it. I'm not quite sure what I'll make for the next video. Maybe we'll go over that big reactors thing. Maybe be a playtime video with getting into Tinker's Construct. I kind of want to rip out all this Ars Magica stuff and put a Tinker's Construct thing there, just because these spells are starting to really annoy me with the way they work with some things. The light, don't get me wrong, these lights are really handy. And as you saw before, the Throw Frost spell is pretty handy, but the rest of it is just too buggy and too rubbish to deal with. So yeah, I guess I will see you again at the next episode, and hopefully we'll get some interesting more progress done and a bit more than me just having the quick tour again. Until next time, thank you very much for watching. See you later.